Alright gang, Cobb back after a long hiatus, this time with a Lucemon in-depth guide. I've been playing this shit since it came out. It is so fun. It's the most fun I've ever had in a card game, and I'm here to teach every one of you watching at home, the millions, the thousands, just how good Lucemon is. Well, maybe not good, maybe that's the wrong term because it is at the minute. I've not tested it in BT25, but since EX10 I have played so much of this deck. It is so much fun, it's so unique. You feel like a raid boss when you're playing it, and that's what I love about the deck. So gang, strap yourselves in because it's going to be a bumpy ride. So gang, this is the Lucemon full in-depth guide by Cobb. That's me! It's been a long time coming, so let's just batter on with it. I do love a PowerPoint, I'm not gonna lie. Feel like this is all business for both of us now. We're locked in this together, learning Lucemon. So the first part we're going into is why you should play Lucemon. There's the wee man himself. Number one, it's the most fun I've ever had with any deck. Now, I'll explain why that is. It just fits my playstyle. I think Lucemon's awesome, and they've really nailed like the feeling of a Digimon like Lucemon in the card game. I've played it since the start, the very beginning. It's just so fun, and at the end of the day, that's my number one reason for playing a deck, is because it's fun. It does have to be somewhat viable as well, and I would say Lucemon is somewhat viable. It's maybe like a rogue deck. It can keep up with a lot, despite its flaws, and that's because it's had a lot of good cards recently. The second point is, the deck's currently cheap as hell, right? So EX6 Chaos Mode used to be a massive floodgate on your bank account. You could not buy Lucemon Chaos Mode unless you forked out like £160 for a playset, like 200 bucks. So that was really bad, but in AD1 it's recently been reprinted. So now Lucemon Chaos Mode, which traditionally has been a cornerstone of the deck, is widely available. Now there's certain cards that have actually went up in price as well, like what else? The BT18 Lucemon that has protection from leaving the field. Those have both went up in price because, I don't know if you know this, the combined sets from like BT18 to 21, they are becoming harder to find. So those cards that were once pennies are now like a little bit. But generally speaking, the deck is super cheap. All the stuff at EX10's pennies, all the stuff at AD1's pennies, Satan modes are pennies. It's super cheap to build, so why not have a go? The next bit is its unique playstyle. So the deck has this playstyle where you offer people decisions. You recover, you bin life, you are controlling, you can beat people up on the board. It is really fun. It makes it feel like every evolution matters, and every evolution has a massive impact. You're basically playing these overpowered Digimon that cost a shit ton to get out, and I think that is extremely satisfying. The next part's the raid boss fantasy. So this deck makes you feel like you are this unstoppable force. You've got this weird interaction that they have to get around. What other deck goes to 6 or 7 security and then says, come at me, you know? This is a deck where you can just do ridiculous things that other decks wouldn't even dream of doing, and that is why I love it. I love feeling like I used to play Machine Dramon. I love feeling like I'm the final boss. It's round 4 of locals, they're coming at you, and you're stopping them. You're the villain that stops people in their tracks. The next bit, control gaming. So Lucemon is faster than it's ever been. It can beat you down in trash security faster than it ever could, but at the same time it is a control deck at heart. You're going to recover life, you're going to utilise that security to your advantage while putting on progressive pressure onto the opponent. That's your real game plan here, is to control the board, put out a Lucemon, say you can't out me, and then put the pressure on for the kill eventually. Now the next bit is my number one reason for playing any deck, and it's because the Digimon's cool as fuck. You've got this wee angel guy. He is the Sin of Pride Lucemon Chaos mode. His lore is really interesting as well. He's this fallen angel. He is like, he thinks he's this messiah of the new world, but you know, we know he is the villain at heart, so he isn't really. His design is sick. I love Satan mode more than any other Lucemon. I think he's just ridiculous, this big demon Satan dragon. Holy fuck, they cooked with that one, eh? Now the next one is future support is coming. So if you pick this up just now and you think, well, this is a wee fun deck to play at locals, or maybe you're bold like me and you take it to a regional, then you will be rewarded by getting another ground floor just now. The deck's super cheap, so why not invest in it with all these reasons above, and there's extra support coming. So we've had confirmed, you know, we've got a Royal Knight set coming. We also have a 7 Great Demon Lords set coming. And Lucemon EX6, guess what? He plays 7 Great Demon Lords. So if any of them have on plays that are good, that's going to be amazing. And I would be highly, highly surprised if they don't print more Lucemon cards in this set, because the fact they printed it in AD1 alone makes me think that Bandai are kind of listening. They've got a bit of an ear to the ground with this deck. They do want to keep supporting it, so the deck's only going to get better, gang. So there's another good reason to play this deck, and it's not really the first thing that would come to your mind. With Lucemon, you can really put your own spin on it. So what I'm going to do at some point in this video is I'm going to cut to the deck build. Now, there is about 40 cards in this deck that are mandatory. The other 10, you can do what you want, you can take for the meta, you can build different versions of it and it'll change over time. But what I want to do is give you guys a baseline for how to play Lucemon. I want to show you the basics, I want to show you the in-depth stuff as well, but at first the basics, just so that you know the core ideology of the deck, what you shouldn't really be touching, and then you've got 10 cards to put your own spin on it. If you love Leviamon, it might not be optimal, but you can slam him in. Same with Beelzemon. Right, next we're going to go on to the deck ideology. So I've got a League of Legends background. A big thing in the League of Legends training community, where people like Coach Curtis and LS, things like that, they like talking about the ideology. And what am I talking about when I say that? It sounds like a lot of pish, doesn't it? But deck ideology, what are you trying to do? What is the deck's theming? What is the deck's game plan? How should you be playing? What should your end goal be with the deck? It's basically what the deck ideology is. And it's very important, because if you know the ideology, then you can build the deck, you know what you should be doing, and you know the plays you should make as well. So deck ideology, very expensive evolutions equals overpowered Digimon. So Lucemon himself's a level 3. He can raise out the breeding area, he can recover 1 life or trash one of the opponent's life when he moves, basically start a main phase. And you know, they search top 3 when moving, which to be honest has been crept out a bit, but generally speaking the Lucemons are all overpowered for level 3s. The level 5s say things like bin a life or I heal 1, or delete something or I heal 1 and you bin a life. They float into level 7s when you remove them. If you remove the level 5, they have to remove something or it isn't removed. You know, you pay a lot. Lucemon himself costs 5, Chaos mode costs 5 or 6, Satan mode costs 6. You know, they're expensive, but they are worth the power, and it makes you feel like every level you go up, you're really doing something. It's not like certain other decks where maybe the level 4 is just a bridge into the 5. No, every single evolution matters a lot in this deck. So we've got the Devil's Deal. The Devil's Deal is the core ideology of Lucemon. You are Satan himself, and you offer them a deal. The deal is this, quite frequently: bin 1 life or I heal 1 life. You have to get used to saying that, folks, because you're going to be asking that question a lot. You delete a guy or I heal 1. You delete something or bin 1 life, I heal 1 life. all this stuff. You have to try and push people into a corner where the deal you offer them is a poison chalice, where they don't really have an option. And the other thing about this is because people don't play against Lucemon and nobody respects it, they don't play test against it, people will frequently make the wrong deal. You've got cards now more than ever, things like Paradise Lost, Digimon. You can clear full boards and then you ask them, delete your prize tamer or bin a life and a recover one, and they're like, shit, both of those options are bad. So yeah, the devil's deal. You have to try and master the art of the deal when you play Lucemon. So we've got recovery and game extension. Now the EX10 Lucemon Chaos Mode, he is amazing for this. So this card basically says, like, when evolving, you trash a card from your hand, they delete a Digimon or Tamer. If they don't, you recover one. Then when attacking, it's not once per turn, they do the same thing. So because of that, if they have nothing on the board, you can recover twice in one turn. You can, if you keep turn, you'll recover twice, sometimes 3 times if you end up using Paradise Lost. If they don't out it, he's just running away with the game. You heal a lot. The Lucemon level 3s heal. So you, like, I've had a record of 18 security with this deck. And if you're playing against something that isn't trying to kill you ridiculously fast, then you can just get ridiculous life totals. It is crazy. The next one is Security Burn. So Lucemon does check the stack a little bit more now because of Paradise Lost, which lets you swing the Pearson over a Digimon. But generally speaking, Lucemon burns more security than it checks, so you're going to be chipping that security stack away. But thankfully, you're not going to be doing too many security checks, so they're not going to be getting value off the stack too often, which is a big positive. Now the next one's Inevitability. So life is a resource in this deck, both for you and your opponent. You've got the heaven and hell aspect, the recovery and the security burn. So because of that, unless the deck that you're playing against recovers a lot, there is a very big inevitability factor where you're essentially going to run them out of life. You're going to put them into a corner and they're not going to have any decisions left. And there are multiple cards in the deck that take advantage of your opponent being at 0 security. If your opponent goes to 0 security, you should win the game. Now what are the advantages to playing this deck? Always raises turn 2. So your turn 1 is always going to be level 5 Lucemon in the back, and if it isn't, your 8th, plain and simple. This is another weakness of the deck. You've only got 12 Lucemon, so you have to hard mulligan for one every time, or you have to take a shitty hand that doesn't seem to be the best just because you've got a level 3. But unless you brick, you're raising turn 2 every game. You're not going, oh fuck, I've got a 4 but no a 5 and a 6, or oh, I've got a 5 and a 6 but no a 4. You're always raising turn 2, you're always getting on that board, and because of that you always force your opponent onto the board as well. If they are not on the board, they are heavily punished because you're going to get ridiculous value, you're going to turn into an absolute titan, and you're going to go to like 6 or 7 way security, and they're going to really struggle to get through that stack. So because of that, Lucemon's good at punishing slow openers. The deck's faster than ever, the game's faster than ever. So that's a real big issue for Lucemon when it's trying to do this control stuff. So Lucemon punishes slow openers. Basically what I'm saying here is if they don't match your turn 2 raise, you can really put them into a corner. You're going to start recovering, you're going to start security burning, you're going to get more time to set up your extra shenanigans. The deck's really good at that, and unfortunately the game is faster than ever. People that, when I started playing the game, right, and BT9 competitively, people were kind of shooting for a turn 3 days, right? Now it's a turn 2 days. Now you can die on turn 2. So it isn't the best, but I mean, people aren't pulling out turn 2 every game. They're not doing that every game. Frequently they'll not have the best hand and they'll go, well, I'm chapping here. Then you can really punish that. So very high recovery is another massive boon here. A friend of mine plays Maruki OTK, unwinnable for him, because you go to 7 security and he goes, well, I just can't win now. Because he makes up 1 Maruki, does a lot of damage and bugger all else. So that's a really massive boon if you're playing against these OTK decks. You, even against things like Puppets and Medusa, you can take them to the late turns of the game because you've got a high security count, which is amazing. And goes hand in hand with that, but security bombs, another really big benefit to playing Lucemon. So when I play the deck, there's maybe 12 plus cards that say play a level 3 Lucemon, and that can recover 1, that can trash 1 of their life, that can set up your hand and your trash, and it plays a 10k body that they have to answer. So whenever they check your security, they have to be mindful that your security is actually a bit more dangerous than it seems. If people are just swinging in willy-nilly, you can get massive tempo shifts. And the other thing is you can rig certain cards into your security too, so you can kind of really rig things in your favour. So if they ever print more security bombs for Lucemon, this deck is going to go up in its merits. We used to play like Bite and Crush at 4, but Levy unfortunately has fallen off. What the deck really needs now is like a really big option card that does something off the stack. I feel like something that just stops people in their tracks, option card wise. Next one is battle removal. So this is a bit of a controversial one because there's no battle keywords on any of the Lucemon cards. There's no raid, there's no piercing. The guys have high DP, but that's not really enough to swing over things. But the one card kind of fixed this issue. So Paradise Lost got printed, and that card is absolutely amazing. So what it basically says is you gain 3k raid, piercing and blocker. Blocker never comes up until the end of the opponent's turn. And it costs 2 memory, so what you can do on turn 2 is you can swing over anything up to level 5 on turn 2 of the game. So if people, it's not the best play, but sometimes you catch people unawares, they leave their level 5 on the board, just swing over it, the game is over at that point. Sometimes people hard play a rookie for free, it's a low tempo play, sometimes they're backed into a corner and they have to do that, you swing over that. And the other thing is, because of this option card, now it's hard for people to stick a rookie on the board, and it's easier to offer them a bad devil deal. When you go into chaos mode, if they've not got a rookie, the option is basically bin the life or blow up your own tamer. So tamer removal as well, it's got loads of tamer removal, kinda. It is not consistent. There is maybe one card that you play, one of the Satan modes is targeted tamer removal on evolution, but other than that, everything else is you may delete a tamer. Would you like to delete a tamer? And frequently the answer is no, but you can use that to your advantage. People aren't going to delete anything that's 3 cost or higher typically. I found this at my last regional. The players were just saying no. Every time I'm like, would you like to delete? No. I'll bin one and I'll heal one. Which, to be honest, is typically a good thing for Lucemon. Because you just get that guaranteed security burn, that guaranteed recover. But sometimes, if you put enough pressure on them, they can't keep saying no, is the idea. So it can remove tamers, it can interact with tamers. And the last advantage is, this is a rogue deck, so it is advantageous to be playing a rogue deck. You might say, no it's not, because it's shit and it doesn't do anything. But no, it's a good thing to be playing a rogue deck. Because you get the element of surprise. People don't play test into rogue decks typically. It's very rare that people have played much into Lucemon. They probably don't know what all the cards do, they're having to stop and read them, and make misplays, they're not making the right decisions when you offer them to delete Digimon or Tamers, and yeah, it's just a good mix when it comes to this, because people, another critique of this deck is people say, oh, Lucemon's bad because it puts the driving wheel in the hands of your opponent. Kind of I kind of know. You push them into making certain decisions, and let me tell you something. Would you be happy to take the steering wheel of a car that you can't drive? Or if you can't drive, you've not got a driver's license, would you drive a car? Well, something tells me that nobody has the license to play Lucemon but me and like 10 other people. Right. So the next one is Custom Card Tamer. Oh my god. I think the best tamer they've ever printed in the game is Docusant Aruba. Right. The Docusant diff is very real. It's a term that I have coined myself. And it's because every time you draw Docusant Aruba, you tend to just win the game. It's kind of that simple. It's a tamer, it's a 5-drop. Basically, on play, you can evolve in the breeding area or on the field into a Lucemon and name from hand or trash. So you pay 5. You sometimes get a cost reduction on the Evo immediately because things cost over 5 in this deck. Then when you evolve into one, you can tap and then gain 1. So for 5 memory, you gain 2 memory. And funnily enough, it is not even 5 memory because you would have paid the 5 memory to evolve anyway. The more Docusants you get on board, you can keep turn from Evos into Chaos mode. And the really important thing is the Lucemon that raises from breeding area, you can keep turn from going into one of them in the breeding area immediately if you find Docusant Aruba. The card is nuts. Disadvantages. So on turn 1 you're always going to spend 5 memory because you're always going to go into Lucemon. So you spend that 5 memory and then they just set up, and then frequently you are knackered because they've just spent 6 memory on memory boosts, and then next turn they've got 4 memory plus whatever you give them, and I've had 2 searches, so things like that can just be an absolute nightmare. But if you go turn 1 and basically your turn 1's the worst turn in the game with Lucemon. Spend 5, right? Then they go set up. Then you've got time to set up. Then it's your turn to have a go. So if you get first with Lucemon, spending the 5 feels a lot less worse because you're not spending 5 onto their turn. Okay? You are spending 5, then they can't do anything because it's the first turn of the game. They can't attack, they can't put the pressure on, and then you basically have time to set up your wall, recover, etc. Now the next one is opening hand is very win or lose. So I mentioned this earlier on, but you've got 12 Lucemon level 3s, which is a big issue. If you don't draw one of them, it's GG, plain and simple. Past that as well, it's a big issue because you might have good cards in your hand that you can't keep because you didn't see a level 3. Or, conversely, your hand might be dog shit, but you've seen a level 3 in a Chaos mode, so you're like, oh well, I'll keep it. Like, the amount of 4, 5 out of 10 hands I've kept with this deck is insane. There are ways to combat that, but it swings and roundabouts with everything in the deck building of this. Hard counter by Digivolve. So this is less of a problem now with Lord Nightmon, because you can make your Digimon unaffected by Digimon effects. So you can almost guarantee that your Lucemon is going to live a turn, which is brilliant. But Digivolve is really bad. The turns afterwards, you're probably not going to be using Lord Knight, the hard slam, to make one of your Digimon unaffected after turn 2. So realistically, Digivolving your guy that you just paid 6 memory to go into, yeah, it's pretty bad. I would actually say that the deck has quite poor removal as well, which is not really befitting of the deck. Everything is, do you want to do this? Would you like to delete a Digimon? The only thing that's really good for removal is Paradise Lost. It gives you 3k raid piercing, so you just swing over something. But to be honest with you, I feel like the deck needs much better removal. Satan Mode's removal's terrible. It just says by fulfilling a condition, i.e. having lava in your trash and having an empty breeding area, delete all their highest or delete one Digimon. It's terrible. It's really, really poor, and it's a bit ridiculous. Now they did kind of shore up this issue a little bit with Dynasmon. Dynasmon actually removed the weakness from this deck where it couldn't deal with wide boards. So now you play Dynasmon and you clear almost everything that isn't level 5 and above, and then you shoot the lowest afterwards because it negs 6k DPs the board, and that is board wide. So you do that and then you delete the lowest level Digimon or DP Digimon. So you basically can delete a 6 and as many 4s and under as they've got, which is really good. But again, that's normally a turn in play, you pay 6 for that. So in my opinion, the removal's quite poor. Another weakness, doesn't OTK. So now everything in the game seems to do like 3+ checks on their swing turn, which is just bloody ridiculous, let's be frank. This deck thrives in a game state where they can't kill you immediately. It makes it harder for them to kill you, yes, but it itself can put out maybe 2 or 3 checks in a turn, or maybe more if they end up winning life. But it cannot win the game from like 2 security, and that's a big issue. That's a real big issue. Another one, it's not unaffected. Now everything's fucking unaffected in the game now. Lucemon is meant to be the raid boss, and you're meant to find it hard to out him. He's meant to be a real brick wall that they can't get past. But nowadays, with the way that the game has been power crept, paying 6 to make your Digimon unaffected is not good enough. So sadly, Lucemon's fallen behind a little bit. I feel like I'm talking now in BT25 terms. It feels like they're slapping unaffected by Digimon effects on absolutely everything, which is a big issue. On your second stack, because yes, this is a deck that makes 2 stacks, you will not be unaffected, and they can do whatever bullshit they want with you. It's a bit of a nightmare. Next one, no dual card. So we're going into BT25 now, everything's unaffected. How do you beat that? Well, you either cheat option cards or you use a dual card. Lucemon's no got one, plain and simple. I end up having to take in 2 copies of Soul Fear into the deck, which is just a pretty okay card, no the best, just so I don't lose to Zafagamon. Because honestly, if you've not got a way to out an unaffected body, then what you're going to do, they're just going to keep putting pressure on you and you're going to lose. So you need to run crap cards now to try and fix this issue, when what you really want to be doing is playing cards that are in archetype and fit the deck and help you actually win the game as opposed to not lose. Next one, middle and DP ceiling. So you can Paradise Lost, right, and you can turn your 10k Lucemon level 3 into a 13k. You can turn a Chaos mode into a 16k DP. You can turn a Satan mode into a 19k DP. Satan mode's quite hard to get out, so that's a big ask to begin with. But nowadays with this game, that isn't good enough. One of my biggest issues with the power creep in this game is that the numbers on DP have just gotten ridiculous. I think the first real perpetrator of this was Galantmon X. Galantmon X gaining like 8k DP or something like that. I think it was +4 and then +4 again in the same turn, going up to like 20k DP, and you're like, what? Why are you allowed to do this? Zafaga gets ridiculous DP, Beat Break gets ridiculous DP. See, when a card says gain DP now, it doesn't say gain 2k or gain 1k or gain 3k, it says like gain 6k, gain 5k. Like, numbers just don't exist as far as DP goes. You've basically got like 12, 13k on a 6, and then 15, 16k on a 7. And if you can go above that, then like sky's the limit. It's just a ridiculous number game now. So that's quite an issue, because people can actually just swing over Lucemon now when they never used to be able to. It used to be quite hard. So let's get into what they do, and we'll go into a wee breakdown of why we've got what we have here. So we've got the egg, Cupimon. When any of your Digimon with Lucemon in their names moves from the breeding area to the battle area by trashing one card in your hand, draw one and gain one. So this is a custom card egg. This is the best egg they've ever printed for any archetype ever. It does more than any egg. It draws and it gains one, and it does it just when you raise, and they're stackable. It's mental. This gets you one card deeper, it fills your trash, it makes sure that you've got at least 2 memory so that you can use Paradise Lost every turn, when you come at the breeding area, that is. And you can stack this sometimes if your Lucemon lives a turn. It's pretty good. We are running 12 Lucemon level 3s. These are non-negotiable. One of the issues with this deck is you really don't want to be running any search or option cards, so we need to make sure that we've got maximum consistency for finding one of these guys turn 1. They all do something a wee bit different, but these two are kind of brothers. This one is a searcher, so all the Lucemons cost 5 to evo. This one is start a main phase, on play, reveal top 3 basically for an angel or a devil card, and then it trashes the rest. Now if you've not got that trait, like the Dynasmon, the Lord Knight, the Docus and Diff, then they're going to the trash. It is great though for filling up your trash and getting you deeper to finding your Chaos modes to make sure you can get an early turn of that out. The next one is really fun, used to be the best card in the deck, but maybe not so much anymore. So it's start a main on play by trashing one card in your hand. Your opponent may trash their top security card. If the effect doesn't trash, then you recover 1. Good to know that these are both on play, because another big gimmick of the deck is playing Lucemon level 3s off of the security. So you can get a search, you can bin 1 or I gain 1. This is an important part of the deck, guys. You need to go, do you bin 1 life or do I heal 1 life? That is what you have to say to your opponent every time. But this is a rookie that makes 1 security diff. Now the reason I referred to these two as brothers earlier on is because they both have the same end of turn effect. By placing one of your level 6 Digimon on top of your security, you can evolve into a Lucemon Chaos mode from trash for 0. Now this is important because there's a lot of good combos with this that basically get you a free evo. You play 6s out for a purpose, and then you also get gravy. You get to recover that into the security. You recover 1. Some of them have security effects. You get to then evolve on top of that, which is brilliant news because we pay a lot of memory for our cards, guys. That's a really big issue of this deck. Now this is the newest Lucemon of the bunch. This guy made the deck a lot better in my opinion. He's got blocker, inheritable and on the stack, so a good play with this is to raise into an Ukomon in the breeding area to deny chip. This comes up a lot. And it has a really unique effect, breeding area effect. When Digivolving, this Digimon may move. So on Evo, you can just push this guy out onto the field and you can immediately get your Cupimon off as well. The second part of it doesn't come up so much in the early game, but it does come up in your second Lucemon stack. Comes up into stopping you from decking out as well, which used to be an issue for the deck. But by returning 5 cards with Lucemon in their text from the trash to the bottom of the deck, this Digimon can evolve into Lucemon Chaos Mode without paying the cost. So this is huge. Your second stack, you want this guy. In your first stack, you want one of the two brothers. The reason being, this lets you make a Chaos Mode from nowhere. Basically, you can have no board start the turn and you can make a Chaos Mode. But you need to set that trash up to be able to do so. The trash is another resource for this deck, everyone. It is important to fuel your trash up, and if you have a big trash, there's a lot you can get away with. The Lucemon Chaos Modes in this deck, personally I like to run 8, and that's because that's the least amount that I need to play to get away with. Sometimes you do whiff on them in the early games and it can be game losing, but it doesn't happen often enough to the point where I need to run more than 8, and by only running 8 we can fit in a lot more impactful cards overall. You could run 9 or 10 of these, but personally I like 8. So the first Lucemon Chaos Mode, he shares the effect of Lucemon Chaos Mode from EX6, which we currently don't have in the deck, and I'll explain to you why in a wee moment. But they both have the same effect on play when Digivolving. Your opponent may delete a Digimon or Tamer, their choice, the Devil's Deal again. If the effect does not delete, then they trash their top security card and you recover 1. Bin 1 and a heal 1. Value. Now this Chaos Mode, the reason we run it over the other one, is because all turns when it would leave the battle area, by trashing your bottom security card, it does not leave. So we can give this card unaffected by Digimon effects, which makes it extremely hard to out, because even if they battle the Digimon, we just bin 1 card and it doesn't leave the field. Now, you might be thinking I'm insane for not playing this card. This was a house back in the day, and it was a mainstay of the deck's strategy. It's got the same on play when Digivolving, but also all turns when it would leave the battle area, you can bottom deck a Lucemon from sources or the trash to play out a Lucemon Satan Mode or 7th Great Demon Lord card from your trash onto the field. This used to be really good for setting up traps, defensive walls that your opponent couldn't break because they would be forced to remove it and then they would eat a Leviamon or a Satan Mode or something like that. But in my personal opinion, it takes up too many deck slots and it's not as impactful as it once was. This is the newer Lucemon Chaos Mode, the newest one we've got, and it is the best one we've got. You want to see this right out of the gate to start putting on some pressure. The EX10 Lucemon Chaos Mode is when Digivolving, when attacking, not once per turn, you may trash a card in your hand. Your opponent then gets a decision. They may delete a Digimon or Tamer. If they choose not to, you recover 1. So you can evolve into this, attack, and you can heal 2. You can also attack end a turn in this deck, again without suspending. So sometimes you can heal 3 off of this. And then the important thing as well is when it would leave the field, your opponent may delete a Digimon or Tamer. If they don't, then it doesn't leave. Simple as that. That's good for getting extra advantage. This guy gets a lot of value every time he hits the field. The only downside to him is you're trashing a lot of cards in your hand, which is good because we want to fill that trash up, but at the same time, sometimes with this deck you go down to 1 or 2 cards in your hand, and then Medusamon asks you to bin the last card and you're thinking, I've got no chance here. Now this card might be my favourite card in the deck. Personally, when I originally played this, I actually thought it was suboptimal, but I enjoyed it so much I played it anyway. But now I'm running it at 4. Some people run it at 2, some people don't run it at all, some people run 3 like I used to for a long time. I run it at 4 because I want to see this card on turn 2 frequently. I want to see it at least 1 copy in my hand every game, sometimes multiple, and I want to see it as fast as possible as well. So what does it do? When this Digimon would leave the battle area, if a card with Lucemon is in its sources, you can trash the top card of both players' securities and it does not leave the field once per turn. So one of the issues you have with Lucemon is you can't apply enough pressure to the opponent. You have this big explosive turn, you recover lots of security, you've got loads of time, but you can't put that pressure on to take them over the edge. So by the time you get to this card, you might have a lot of security, so you don't care about trashing your own. It's a much bigger deal to trash the opponent's. And the second effect is end of your turn, your opponent may trash their top security card, their choice again. If they don't, you recover one and you can delete a Digimon or Tamer of your choosing. This is a wee ticking time bomb. Again, you can make it unaffected. It's got protection once per turn. So this really accelerates the game state. This is the kind of finisher that you need to put that pressure on. And it combos well with the real reason it's my favourite card in the deck. 7th Divine Cruise. So what this does is, the main effect is so bad, I think I've used it once ever in my years of playing this deck. But when you evolve into Lucemon X, you bot deck this card, and you ask your opponent, you bin 1 life, or I heal 1 life. Now this is crazy. If you get 2 or 3 or god, even 4 of these in the trash, the amount of security diff, which is the main thing that we're concerned with for this deck, is sometimes, it's, well, 1 security diff for the end of turn on the Lucemon X, and it's an extra security diff for everyone you get in trash, so it's maybe 3 security diff, puts on so much pressure, it's amazing. Insecurity, it does also play a Lucemon level 3 when hit, so you can then put another security diff on, you can search if your hand's getting low, or in a pinch you can get a blocker. Brilliant stuff. Personally, I play this at 4, but you don't have to play it at 4. I just think this Lucemon X and the Divine Cruise is really how you high roll your way to the game wins in the early game. If your opponent is playing real slow, you can also hard slam this for 5 and try to suck this into security. You can let it go in and get a recovery and evolve into another Chaos mode, or you can deny the suck by binning the top security from both stacks. That puts a lot of pressure on the opponents that are taking it slow. It lets you really put that clock on 7-fold, so that's the reason we run this card. Passively, it really increases the speed of the game, which is really what we need to win here. Now moving on to the new AD1 cards. These are custom cards in a way. They're insane. You can play them in Knights, but they're even better than Lucemon. They were really made for Lucemon in my opinion. So we've got the new Dynasmon. The condition on it says, when this card will be played, if you have 4 or more cards with Lucemon or Wichelny in their text in your trash, reduce the play cost by 5, so you play this for 6. On play and when digivolving, mainly the on play, but sometimes you do use the when digivolving. It's basically Valkyremon Ace, if you remember that card. It was one of the best aces on the level 6 slot they ever printed. By trashing your top or bottom security, all your opponent's Digimon get -6 for the turn, and that's a blanket effect, so everything that comes on the field after that during this turn is going to get -6 automatically. Then the second effect, all turns, when your security stack is removed from you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. This is amazing because what you do is you -6 and clear all these small bodies, medium bodies off the board, and then you delete the lowest body, which is normally the biggest body. This card can single-handedly win you matchups that were once very difficult. Puppets. You play this into a puppet board, if they don't have 2 level 6s out, it's a full clear. It's amazing. Insecurity, they both have an effect as well. This card is, give one of your opponent's Digimon security attack -1 for the turn, then one of their Digimon gets -3000 till your turn ends. So if this is hit on the opponent's turn, you can neg 3k something and then swing over it. Another big important part of this card is the security effect triggers before the actual battle against the Digimon happens. So if they are 14k and they swing into this, you're going to minus them 3k and then they're going to get deleted at the 11k battle in the security. So that does come up as well, remember that. It really slows down security pressure into the deck, which really matters a lot. Now the next card, Lord Nightmon. Now the condition on this to play for 6 is if you have a card with Lucemon in its name, reduce the play cost by 5, so we play this for 6. On play when digivolving, one of your Digimon is unaffected by Digimon effects till the end of the opponent's turn. We are unaffected, finally. this can matter a lot because it just helps your Lucemon stick around. If you go back to this guy, he can get extra value and he can get another swing in next turn, he can recover you another life, it can make sure that we can convert into Lucemon X. It's really handy. The other part of the card is when any of your Digimon with Nightmon or Lucemon in text are played, de-Digivolve 2 one of your opponent's Digimon. So that counts when you play this card as well. So you're going to play this card, make your Lucemon unaffected, and de-Digivolve something by 2. Now this card is not as good as Dynasmon throughout the game. Dynasmon feels more like an option card, but Lord Nightmon is mainly used to suck into security with one of the two brothers, and you can force this security effect to proc. You get a free Chaos Mode and you're unaffected, so it's massive value if you get this card turn 2 when you're making your Lucemon. The security effect is de-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, then delete a play cost fearless. So again, slowing them down, stopping the wide boards from coming in. This card helps a lot. I like to play 4 in my personal list, but 3 can do. Dokusen Aruba. Where the hell do I start with this card? It's so unassuming. It's so unassuming, but see when you play it, it is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the biggest weakness Lucemon ever had as an archetype was everything is so expensive. How the frick, how the helly do we pay for it? Well, Dokusen is your answer. Dokusen is a memory setter. Okay, sounds good. We like that. Costs 5, we don't like that. But on play, one of your Digimon with Lucemon in its text on the field, so that includes the breeding area, may Digivolve into a Digimon card with Lucemon in its name from your hand or your trash without paying the cost. So as soon as you see this card in your hand, right, this is a hard and fast rule for this deck, as soon as you see it in your hand, if you don't have a Dokusen on board, you get that Dokusen diff going ASAP. Turn 1, you can hatch the egg, you can Dokusen into a Lucemon in your hand. Brilliant. We've got a memory setter for the rest of the game. We paid nothing for it. Every time we raise, we're going to go to 4 memory instead of 3 because we've got the Lucemon egg, Cupimon. And the second part of it says when any of your Digimon Digivolve into a card with Lucemon in its name, you suspend them to gain 1 memory on your turn. Right. So basically, this is a 4 memory setter. It sets you to 4 every turn. And do you know what else? We paid 0 for it. Because we would pay 5... Oh, we've got rid of our Dokusen, never do that. We pay 5 to Evo anyway. Or 6. Or 3. Or, you know, if you're playing Saint mode, you pay 6. So this card sometimes gains you 2 memory on play. Sometimes this card is just a free memory setter. And the other thing that's important with this card is it lets you use your trash as a resource. Because if you see a second one, you can use it to evolve from the trash, which is really helpful. Remember I said you go down to a small hand size? Well, Dokusen into this card is a Chaos Mode. That's 3 cards from 1 basically. You can play with that small hand size. Dokusen is insane. This is why I call it the Dokusen Div, people, because this card is a custom card. It's so good that every single time you play the deck, it makes you feel like you are Lucemon himself, you are a god. Honestly, see if you could start turn 1 with Dokusen in your hand every game. This deck would be at least tier 2, right? Or 1.5 maybe. This deck can really hold its own if you see Dokusen turn 1, right? Or early turn 2. But you don't always see it. And you can't have mulligan for it either, because if you whiff a Lucemon level 3 turn 1, then you lose the game. Now we've explained Divine Cruise, but we're going to explain another amazing card they printed for this deck. Paradise Lost. So this is a 2-cost option card. If you have Lucemon in its name on the field, you can use it without the colour requirements. So the level 3 Lucemon can use this as well. The main effect says, until your opponent's turn ends, one of your Lucemon gains 3k Raid, Piercing and Blocker till the opponent's turn ends. So what this enables you to do is, another big weakness of this deck was when you made your big Lucemon Chaos Mode, they would have a rookie on the field and they would just delete it. So you paid 6 memory to delete a rookie. Shite. Now what you do, you swing over the rookie, we've always got 2 memory thanks to the egg, your Lucemon swings over it and raids at 13k, pierces for a check, putting that pressure on. and they've not got anything on the board to delete now, so we get our guaranteed Tamer deletion or Trash 1 a heal 1. Brilliant. Second part of the effect is good. At the end of your turn, you trash your top security card, and one of your cards with Lucemon in name can attack without suspending. Really, really important. So, one of the god combos with this deck is your early turn 1, you get this card, you swing over the rookie when you raise with your level 3, you pierce for a check, you go into this chaos mode on Evo, you trash a card, you recover 1, bing, then you bot deck your Paradise Lost, you attack without suspending, and then you get to do it again. So you get so much advantage from that play, it's so explosive. The deck is all about turn 2 explosive plays and then trying to claw its way back from there. This card puts you in such a good position normally that you've got time to claw back, right? And we're trying to claw back those final checks because we put them under a lot of pressure very early with the right hand. So everyone, that's a very basic breakdown designed for beginners. I'm explaining what every card does, the wee advantages of it, and why we need to include them in the deck because they're so good and they're not really negotiable in my opinion. What we're going to do now is we're going to go on to the little packages you can add into the deck, what they do, the advantages, the disadvantages, and so forth. So this is what I ran at Bristol Regionals. I'll explain it to you. New cards added, we've got one of this Lucemon which is simply on play recovery 1. Reason we run this is because we've got Lava which also plays a Lucemon off the stack, so we've got 4, 8, 11 cards that play Lucemon off of security, and when this is just simply recover 1, there's no choice in the matter, we're just going to heal, we don't have to trash a card in hand like we do with this, it's a lot of extra value. Lucemon Larva is an include because it's always been a 3 or a 4 of in the deck. The main reason you play it is because it has synergy with Lucemon Satan mode, and also because it used to be the number 1 target that you wanted to suck into security with one of the two brothers. You would play this for 6, put it into security, evolve into a chaos mode in the trash, then they would have this guarantee that they were going to hit something off of security that played a Lucemon level 3, and it would get you your second stack, it would search you, it would recover 1, or it would create a security diff somewhere. The reason why we have to run this with Satan mode is because Satan mode's on play is by placing a Lucemon Larva into the breeding area, you delete all their highest level Digimon. So it's good into things like TS if they've got multiple Digimon on the board. You can delete all the 6s at once or force the protection or what have you. The important part about Larva is when it's in the breeding area, if Satan mode leave the field, he raises to stop it being deleted. You might think, well, how does Larva survive? It's got 0 DP. Well, there's another part of Larva that says, well, you have another non-white Digimon with Lucemon in its name, none of your 0 DP Digimon can be deleted. So this 0 DP guy can just swing, they can't delete it. You've got the Satan mode out, they have to out Satan mode twice. Lucemon Larva can also evolve into Lucemon X, which is really handy. And it gives you a lot more aggression. If you are going to be running Satan mode, you have to swap this out, in my opinion, for, where is it, the classic Lucemon EX6. So this card plays Satan mode when it would leave the field. It sounds good, right? Your second stack turns into the EX6 Chaos mode. They out it, you play Satan mode, they have a hard time outing it. You get 2 checks right away. And when attacking, this says you delete a Digimon or Tamer. If you don't, then it unsuspends and they trash top security. So that can be 1, 2, 3, 4 security checks if you do it right. 1 from the Larva, 1 from the Satan mode attacking, 1 from the trash, and then 1 from the unsuspend. So it puts a lot of pressure on. I feel like this should really be the ender for Lucemon. And to be honest, it's only recently I've taken it out, just because it doesn't seem to come up very much for me anymore. It seems awkward to try and work it out. Personally, if you're going to be playing Satan mode, I would like to see, let's just call this the Satan mode package as well. If I was going to focus on Satan mode, I'd probably drop that to 1, put another Larva in, maybe drop that to 0, and I would put another Satan mode in. You could also think about removing a Lob Knight, but I think it's very important, or removing this on play recovery 1. This is important for the turn 2 to make sure that it goes through without a hitch. This is important because if we're playing 4, 8, 12 cards that play a Lucemon off the stack, we really want to be playing this a lot of the time. This is most of the time the best play off a security. So gang, we've spoke about what I took to regionals, we've spoke about a Satan mode version of the list, what it might look like. Now, what we're going to talk about now is my current build of Lucemon. Now, there are some notable changes to this. This is a card I have not mentioned yet. A lot of people who are Lucemon heads may be like, where the hell is Gaspel, the Fallen Angel? Now, this card, when you play it, you got to quote the Tupac song, Ghetto Gospel. You got to say, hit him with a little ghetto gospel. Tupac the GOAT. Anyway, this card is crazy, right? In theory, this is a card that for 0 memory shoots a delay option and evolves you into Lucemon from trash, reduced by 3. So it shoots a delay and gains you 3 memory, this card. But it is slower than you'd like it to be. It only really pays off in super long games, because basically you have to use this for your second stack at the current moment. There's no real way to set up a Lucemon in trash on your first turn of the game, so you're not going to get it off turn 1, which means you're not going to get it off turn 2. Then turn 3, by the time it comes around, you might use it to go into this little guy. The main purpose of this card, this one here, is to record this as much as possible. Because this Lucemon basically says, every turn, if you've got Dokuzen on the board, make a Chaos mode, keep turn, generate additional advantage, lets you keep turn and go into your Lucemon X, or your Lucemon Satan mode. Now this card's really good as well, because it can, when you keep turn, then turn that into a free Lucemon X, or it can turn it into a 3-cost Satan mode, which is great, because Satan mode costs 6, which is bloody ridiculous. So this card's really good for that. So you're thinking, why does that not get in more lists, Cobb? The reason is because the games just don't go long enough most of the time. Most of the time you don't get a chance to proc the delay. It's matchup dependent whether you get to proc the delay or not. I run one simply just to increase the chances that my second stack is going to be this guy. That's the only reason I run it. So that's why we play Gospel Fallen Angel. Now, sadly, you'll notice I'm down to 3 Lucemon X. This was my big brain blast that 4 Lucemon X was awesome, and I do stand by that. Now, the issue is, if you're going to be running this Lucemon EX6, you really need to play Satan mode off it in the current meta, because you need, say they out this, you need them to out this, and then out this a second time with the lava rays when it protects. So basically, this guy's on play basically does bugger all most of the time. He's when Digivolving most of the time also does bugger all. But basically, you just need to fart something out onto the board that they need to deal with. People will fall into the trap of when they out this and play this, they will then not attempt to out the Satan mode because you're going to protect it. But if you out the, I'm trying to say here, they will out the Satan mode and then you'll raise Lucemon Lava onto the board. Now, that's actually not a good thing. You should not try and out this card unless you can out it twice, because then you also get Lucemon Lava, Lucemon Satan mode on the board, and then you get another one of these wee ugly MFers in the breeding area. Then they've got 3 swings. This can turn into Lucemon X, which is absolutely insane for 3 over anything level 5 or higher Lucemon in name. So that is a ridiculous amount of tempo for them to deal with. But in reality, what tends to happen is they'll out this twice and you'll cry, they'll stun this and you'll cry. It's not as good as I hoped, to be honest. So that's basically the issue with this deck. You'll notice is I'm having to cut down margins on cards that I think are really good so that I can fit in the Satan mode package, which to me, if you're running this Lucemon and you're not running any Demon Lords to play off it, Lucemon X is a crap play off of it because there's nothing on play and they have to out it. If they out it, then it's just, that's it. Curtains. So that's a crap play off this. You really need to play one of these 2 guys, or maybe this, because this does something immediately when the opponent's turn ends. We'll get onto that in a minute. So I've had to cut corners to make room for these 7 cards. I run 4 Larva because these two are just garbage without Larva in the trash. This is garbage without Larva in the trash. Larva is also just a pretty solid card. My only issue with it is this Lord Knight that makes you unaffected. This Lord Knight eats into the space of Larva because you want to suck one of these guys into security with one of these guys, turn 2. So we've got a suck here, we've got 7 sucks. You don't get to do this on the second turn of the game very often because you need 4 cards in trash with Lucemon and text. So you've got 7 sucks, which is too many sucks. It's frankly too many sucks. But we got to run 4 so that we can get this online quickly. So it's a big issue. It eats really heavily into your deck space. You really can't put too much Riz on it, which sucks. We've got this Satan mode, who's basically here just for the solid Evo. Now on Evo, you put a Larva into your breeding area to delete any Digimon or Tamer on your opponent's side of the field. This is the only card in the whole deck that guarantees a deletion on a Tamer. So that's why we run it basically. And the other good thing about it is end of all turns, both yours and your opponent's turn, you trash their top security card, and if you can't trash it, then you delete an opponent Digimon and Tamer. So this is really good in the late turns of the game. This is a very passive card, because if they don't out it, then it's just going to chip them away. Puts the clock on. Sometimes this is going to delete a Tamer, then delete another Tamer and a Digimon. So sometimes you get really good value for this, and it's generally better than evolving into this, which just says, you know, when evolving, delete all highest level basically, and they get to pick to delete a Digimon or Tamer. If not, it trashes their top security and unsuspends. So it gets a lot of pressure on there, but it's just like it can't get past big walls. You're generally not keeping turn when you go into it, so the unsuspend typically doesn't really matter. It's really hard to keep turn going into this big guy now, so this is just here to be splattered out from this. Anyway, that's the Satan mode talk done. Another sad cut is we had to get rid of the on-play heal Lucemon. I had to go. Now this is a brilliant card, I love it. Again, as I've mentioned before, you've got 8, 12 cards that play this off of from the trash. This card's really good for that, just keeps healing, you gain an infinite security stack. But it's one of the less important cards of the deck. And again, Satan mode package we had to fit in so that we could play the game a bit. Because everybody just outs these guys like they're nothing. They just get outed like a stiff breeze now. So we have to punish them when they out this second stack. If they out your first stack, we're okay. Second stack, no, we can't have that go down. So this on-play heal is really good. But Satan mode has 8 into the deck space, so this is a card that's lower on the priority list. We had to get rid of him. What else? We've only got 2 and 3 of the Royal Knights. So Dynasmon's now at 2. I would like to run it at 3 because it auto wins you deck matchups like puppets, if they don't kill you on turn 2, and that is. It outs wide boards, and that's a big weakness for the deck. But at the minute, I'm not sure there's many decks that go super wide, so it's less important into anything that isn't puppets. And Lord Knight, again, we're unaffected. We love that. That's so good. The security effect's really good as well. But we've got more sucks here. We've got more sucks, so we have to lower the space on this. And the other thing is, after turn 2, this card is a bit of a dud. Very, very rarely do I ever think to myself, oh, I'd just love to slam a Lord Knightmon for 6 here. Because every turn after turn 2, you should just be going Lucemon, raise, Lucemon, raise, Lucemon, raise to keep the pressure on. So you often don't want to put them to like 6 memory slamming a Lord Knight, and then they just go, you know, GG bro. So that's another reason why we've had to cut some numbers down. Yeah, that's the main part of it. Now you might be wondering, what the fuck is this, Cobb? Soul Fear. Soul Fear, Cobb, really? Well, this is an option card that just says delete a level 6 or higher, and in security it does that as well. So it's good, it's a nice wee security bomb, it takes people off guard, but option card removal has become extremely important in the game, and we no longer have access to that in this deck. There are no real good option cards that you can play from hand to delete something that's unaffected by Digimon effects. So sometimes just a wee dot for 5 onto something is great. If they see a Vortex Dramon, you don't instantly lose the game, and if they don't see any of the new unaffected bullshit, then this stops them from winning the game as well. Sometimes they'll swing into it off of security and they'll get pantsed by it. It's alright, I don't mind it, but I do not like having to take up deck slots away from my archetypal cards. So hopefully when the Demon Lord support comes around, we get a Lucemon dual card. That would be amazing. Would be another big boon for this deck if you had a Chaos Mode dual card, because your turn 2 would be even better with that. But then these cards would fall off. Anyway, one last thing to note about the current build. I have not tested this. We've got Habakirimon, right? So this is a dual card that is generic. It is a yellow dual card. Now, this in theory is actually pretty good in Lucemon. I have not tested it yet because I have been testing BT25 decks. And I've been playing Lucemon for like 3 or 4 months now. So I've moved on to some other things. But Habakirimon, I think actually could be pretty good in this deck. The reason why is because it's a dual card. So basically, neg 8k something for 6. Then trash your top security card, or your opponent's Digimon loses 5k. So this is, in theory, like a Dynasmon on legs. It's not that hard in the later stages of the game to keep turn going into a Chaos Mode, so you can turn it into a Habakiri for 6. Probably blow up the whole board, apart from anything that's absolutely massive, like a Zafagamon, which is an issue. And then we go into Habakirimon. So his effect is, when Digivolve him and attacking, once per turn, not like this, go over here. Recovery 1. Excellent, love you already. Recovery 1, amazing. Then by trashing the top card of the player with the most security cards, this Digimon unsuspense. Now that's frequently going to be you, by the way. You're typically going to have the most security cards. But I guess, typically I would imagine you'd use this on the second stack that you've made with the EX10 Lucemon. So you might not actually have the most security cards by that point. So we might say bin 1, heal 1, nuke the board, and he's also got protection once per turn by binning your top security card. So in theory this card could be quite good. I just wanted to bring it up so that if any of you guys are picking up the build, then you can make some adjustments here. I would maybe like say get rid of like the 1 or 2 Dynasmon for like 2 Habakiri, or you could get rid of a Soul Fear for 3 Habakiri, and you could put that down. You could put in Dynasmon, put Dynasmon back in. Just because he lets you do it from nowhere, he does not let you do it from nowhere, so this is just a pocket thing. Now, that's all I had to say, guys. Now we're going to go back to the PowerPoint, and we're going to talk about additional cards that I've not talked about already that you might want to include in your Lucemon build. Because I have tested 1,000,001 cards with this deck, but not all of them have made the final cut for the video. So I'm going to go through and spread my wisdom on about 10 different cards that I have tested in Lucemon over the years. Right gang, you have had the breakdown now on how to play the deck. You have had the deck ideology, you have had the pros, the negatives, and you've had a couple of wee lists to look at. But this is some cards that you may want to include in your Lucemon deck. These are cards that don't typically make it into my lists, but I have tested with, and they have potential, they have good synergy, but they just don't make it for one way or another. Be that there's other more pressing things like fucking Soul Fear we have to run. But these cards are good, so keep note of them, and they may come up again in the future. So 1, Dead or Alive. So, Dead or Alive is basically just a security bomb. Sometimes it comes up from hand, but you almost entirely run this card to sack people out of security. It basically says, when you play it, play a level 5 Digimon card from your trash, right? That is a Chaos Mode. Level 5 or... It basically says play a level 5 from your trash, right? So this plays a Chaos Mode from your trash onto the board, you get that on play, and then there's a naked Chaos Mode that they can't de-digivolve, roadblocking them. This is amazing, it's a brilliant swinging tempo. You play an EX6 Chaos Mode over this, it's a major game swing. You can also play a Lucemon Satan Mode off of this if you've got 10 or more cards in your trash. Satan Mode just being there, showing up, is really, really irritating, because he can just help you push for lethal. And honestly, the amount of memory gain you get off of this card coming off the stack is ridiculous. People just get panched by it if they hit it in security sometimes. It's very fun, but it's one I really can't justify running at the moment because it doesn't do anything if it's not in security. Next one, BT3 Lucemon. So BT3 Lucemon is here for the sole purpose of being played from trash to recover 1. Now it's just unconditional recover 1, so he can get repeatedly spat out to repeatedly recover you 1 because you've got so many cards that say play a Lucemon from trash in security. So you can really inflate your life total with this card and make things even harder to deal with. but again, it's one of these cards that's really good. He's one of the cards that I would be more likely to include than the other ones on this list, but he is just, it's just a bit niche, isn't it? Like, we're having to run a card so that if something comes off of the stack and this is in trash, then we can play it. I have ran it at 1, I have ran it at 2, it feels really good when it works, but for the sake of consistency and having to take against other things, I don't think we can include it anymore. Next one, Lucemon. So you've seen the breakdown of the video of the deck list even. Lucemon is actually sick in this deck. He's really good, and the reason why is because now we can run like 16 level 3s. So if we're going first, we can put our Lucemon in raising. If we need to, we can hard slam the search of Lucemon for 5, and Lucemon can raise onto the board, do his searching bit, fix your hand. He can find Dokkason. Oh my god, the only card that can find Dokkason really for this deck, apart from like Digital Gate Open, but you're not playing delay options in this deck like memory boosts and stuff. Lucemon is so good. We know he's good, and another thing that's good about Lucemon is you can play Lucemon after turn 1. Because you have a Lucemon that raises from the breeding area when digivolving, you can just put an Lucemon in the back anytime you're not putting something else in the back. It's got anti-synergy with Satan mode doing that, but you're not always going to have a Satan mode threat on the board. Lucemon is really good. Another reason why is because he chips. So 1 security has a massive value when you're playing Lucemon and when you're playing into Lucemon. So the fact he just comes out and chips you for 1 really speeds the game up and can kill things a lot quicker. Next one is Genai's House. So Genai's House is a 2-cost option. You put it into security, it's a field spell, and everything you have gains 3k on your turn. Really good for raising your DP ceiling a bit, like you beat over things. You can turn your Lucemon level 3 into 13k Digimon, which means you're more likely to live a security check. We do have the risk with the Paradise Lost on a level 3 Lucemon that it dies to something bigger than 13k, so this can make that much safer, and it's also a card that guaranteed plays your Lucemon level 3 at the bottom of your security, so this might recover you 1 at the bottom and it might just be another trap for your opponents to get around. Next one, win rate 60%. So the issue with this card is we need a tamer in play to use it, but other than that, this is a card that says set up your trash and gain 2 memory. It's pretty fucking good, if I do say so myself, but it's just hard to include. It's really hard to include cards like this. The fact that if you've got no Dokkason, you can't play it, it's just a nightmare, to be frank with you, but it has a lot of potential. Next one. This was something I used to rely on like a fucking crutch back in the day. Revive from Darkness. So delete one of your purple Digimon. Okay. Do I have to? No. If you've not got a Digimon, you don't have to delete anything and you still get the next effect, which is you can play a level 5 or lower from trash, you don't get the on play, which is good because otherwise this would be cancelled. Basically, you use this to shit out an EX6 Lucemon Chaos Mode from trash for 4 memory. It used to be really good back in the day because if your first stack went down too quickly, it was curtains for you. But now, we can constantly raise onto the board. It does feel better to just constantly fart Lucemons onto the board and make Chaos Modes. This is more revolving around the Lucemon Chaos Mode EX6 trap, but we don't need to rely on that as much as we used to. It's more like a backup plan, and it has fell off in power as well, so Revive has also fell off in power for that reason. Next one is just 2 staples, right? People don't really run these at the moment, but Death X and Medieval are both really good cards, and they've got additional synergy in Lucemon. Medieval Gallantmon's really good because you can suspend your Lucemon, suspend their Digimon, and you can delete something massive, or you can alliance with a 10k body, and if they've got 2 bodies on the board, and they can swing for like 21k, which is kind of ridiculous. And you can kind of just make this giant Medieval Gallantmon swing from anywhere, which is great, and then as we know it goes into a floodgate. Death X to me is a card that's actually went up in value over the years, because as the pace of the game has went on, the rate at which people spit out Digimon and Tamers has went up. So think of something like Puppets, which is probably the premier example. They spit out a ridiculous amount of Digimon. Like, people have got no space on their damn playmat when they're playing that deck. Death X for 0, pretty good, pretty good. Just deep digivolves like the whole board and then deletes all the weenies, pretty good. And then he's just a 15k guy they have to. Next one, Digimon Emperor. So I don't know if you've noticed this, but there's a lot of ridiculous level 3s in the game now. Things like Patamon, he's been around for a while, but they keep printing when moving effects on level 3s. Especially against decks where they don't really go up the line. This card's ridiculous. Ukomon's kind of been seeing a renaissance. This card's ridiculous. You just trap an Ukomon in the raising area. The other thing that's good about this card in Lucemon is Lucemon extends the game quite a lot. So you're likely to see additional value from this card, because what tends to happen is people will stick a rookie in the back and they'll commit the memory to the board. They don't want to commit it to the back because they're going to miss the rookie when moving effect, they're going to miss the when digivolving on their 4. So you force people to lose value, you slow them down, and you end up kind of floodgating the breeding area a bit. It's really good. Also, the consistent draw power is good because sometimes you do run out of cards in hand with Lucemon. So overall, this is really, really good. I was playing it in a build that didn't have Satan mode for a while, because Satan mode takes up like 7 card slots. He's a greedy motherfucker considering he's not that good. Digimon Emperor is a brilliant card and it's got additional value in Lucemon for sure. Next one, tax control options. So what sounds good to me is I recover a shit ton and then I floodgate people from being able to do things. What also sounds good to me is playing a bunch of tamers that come off the stack and gain memory. What also sounds good to me is just totally slowing down the opponent's options and just taxing them my memory here and there. So Keenan Crier, Hokuto, Amorokawa and Mimi Tanchikawa, right? These 3 cards, Mimi's probably the worst of them right now, but both Keenan Crier and Hokuto both punish people for playing Digimon by effect. And Keenan is really good as well because, as you know now, we play a lot of Lucemons on the opponent's turn from security, so this card will really just constantly steal memory off of the opponent. They don't even need to be playing Digimon by effect for this card to be good. The other thing is, off the stack, it can force them to trash an option or end the turn. It can just steal a memory here or there. Really good stuff. Hokuto as well is great because you end up drawing extra cards. If they are a tamer heavy deck, you end up stealing memory off them at the start of your turn. He's very cheap, and so is Mimi. Now, we also play a lot of options in the deck, so Mimi is actually really good because you can play her for 2 and then tap her immediately to gain 1. Then she can just floodgate memory boosts and trainings for the rest of the game, and Protoform and Scramble. Really good cards. Consider running them. You can run a really troll version of the deck with this. One day it might be good, but right now, in my opinion, it's not one of the premier ways to play the deck. Next one, Darkness Wave. So for 1, you can trash the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you've got a yellow Digimon in play, return a yellow or purple Digimon from trash to hand. This is primarily used to set up your trash for 1 memory. Really good, because trash is a resource in this deck as well. If you've got a set up trash, you can get away with bloody murder. The other thing is for recursion. You can recur any purple or yellow card with this, so you can use your trash as a hand. Now, our issue with this is, ideally, we want to be playing this maybe turn 2. Then we've got a Lucemon on the board. Now, it is a problem because if we've not got Dokusen on board, you can't play this with a level 3. You have to wait till you get to Chaos mode. Now, once you're at Chaos mode, most of the time, that is you happy. You don't necessarily need to set your trash up anymore. It can be nice when it happens in security as well. Overall, a card that, to me, just doesn't have a high enough impact to see play in the deck. Next one is Blinding Ray. Gain 2 memory for no reason. Yeah, really good. We've got a really high security total here as well, which means the 1 security that we do remove is less impactful. However, the security in this deck is also really strong, so you kind of don't want to remove stuff. You're kind of using this. When people blind and ray you most of the time, right, they're trying to just kill you. But with this deck, you're basically burning your own security for a resource to take memory away from the opponent. Sometimes the extra 2 memory can let you keep turn when you're doing stupid plays like in Chaos mode, but overall it's just a card that is good that I struggle to fit in the deck personally. Well gang, that's everything you need to know about Lucemon. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a long one, but I appreciate each and every one of you if you got this far in the video especially. If you're gonna ask your opponents, bend one or I heal one and show them that Dokusen diff, then smash that like and subscribe button. Sorry I gotta say that, but I just love seeing people engaging with stuff I put out, you know, I like to see the number go up. And I also love talking about Digimon, so if you've got any questions, just leave them in comments below. Follow me on Twitter for regular Digimon updates and tips. Oh, and I frequently offer free advice on deck building on Digimon stuff on the Twitter as well. So if you like the sound of any of that, then please follow me, drop me a DM, or just stick it in the comments below, no problem. And now, the outro song. Benman, 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 Benman. Lucy, bend your life okay. Lucy, bend your life okay. Benman, 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 Benman. Lucy, bend your life okay. Lucy, bend your life okay. Of the raise up, I'm doing my best. I trash one and I gain a little map. I'm a devil but also a gem. The final boss enemies I condemn. Stack so big they can't end that game. Dorcas and Diff got me shouting his name. Eating offense like no the game ain't done. Ben one life or I will heal one. Benman, 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 Benman. Lucy, bend your life okay. Lucy, bend your life okay. Benman, 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 Benman. Lucy, bend your life okay. Lucy, bend your life okay.